No, Adam Kokesh, the Marine, got in with his "you can't win an occupation" sign during McCain's speech. Did you see that?
No.
On C-SPAN.
No. Well, see, I'm an equal opportunist hater of both of the parties. I didn't watch 1 minute of the Democratic convention, so to be fair, I didn't watch 1 minute of the Republican one either. And then I had to laugh because all CNN and Fox wanted to talk to me about was the conventions. And I said, I didn't watch. Why do you want to talk to me? I wasn't there.
Jesse, you need to meet Senator Ken Shamrock.
Hi, Ken. How are you? Nice to meet you.
He sits next to me on the floor. It's a lot of fun to go.
I bet. I bet.
There's a big push for us to get Karen Johnson to run for governor. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's a terrific idea.
We can bring Jesse to be chief of staff.
In fact, better her than me. Been there, done that. She's welcome to it.
Yeah, I'm all about to tell you.
Conspiracy nuts, as we're called now. I don't know. But to me, if they have that ability, why don't they show us all this plain striking? And yet they've confiscated them and they won't allow. Just like I can go all the way back to Kennedy. Did you know that today, even today, you are not allowed to see Lee Harvey Oswald's tax return from 1962 because of, quote, national security? Now, how could Lee Harvey Oswald's tax return of 1962 affect our national security? Well, I guess if he was collecting government checks, that would mean he was an employee of the government, wouldn't it? Well, they didn't tell us that, did they, about Lee Harvey Oswald, that he quite possibly could have been a government employee.
You know, one question I have...
And why would he not be able to see his tax return? My God, it's 50 years later.
Yeah.
This guy was a Marine private. I was a petty officer 3rd class in the SEALs. I had a top secret security clearance, but I didn't know that much. I couldn't have gone to the Russians and told them anything they probably didn't already know. Why would we need to lock up everything about Lee Harvey Oswald, a Marine private, because of national security? Now, if Lee Harvey Oswald happened to be involved in a false defector program with the CIA, well, then there probably was security problems that you would have to lock up intelligence on him for. But how could a Marine private affect our national security in any way, shape, or form? Maybe a Marine general could, but certainly not a private.
Sure. On your time of service here, you retired, you're a surfer dude, man, having fun, I'm good. You know, I don't need to be messing with it, I'm out of it. You went away for a while, and they're like, well, when are we going to get our Jesse fix, okay? Then here it comes. You write the book, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me. When did you start writing that? Why? And what do you hope the result will be?
Well, first of all, let's back up to why I disappeared for 3 years. I came out of office. Of course, I shocked the status quo that I didn't seek re-election.
Wait a minute, I want to get this on.
And I clearly could have won. I had at one time the highest approval ratings of any Minnesota governor in history, 71 or 72%. But I don't put any credence into that, because you have to make hard decisions. And any time you make a hard decision, your approval ratings are going to start falling, because there are people that won't like it. And many people are one-issue people. Well, what happened to me when I didn't seek re-election, I was the hottest commodity out there. I was the voice of the independent. As Eleanor Cliff called me when I was teaching at Harvard, and I love this, she called me the high priest of the third party movement. I enjoy that. Now that's got a little wrestling to it. I like that title, the high priest of the third party movement, you know. That's what Eleanor called me out there. Well, what happened to me was this. When I left office, Fox, CNN, and MSNBC came courting me like no tomorrow. They were in a bidding war to see who could get me. MSNBC came in with the best deal. I signed with them a 3-year contract, which in the contract it gave them exclusivity. I could not do any other news shows. I could not do any cable or satellite shows, anything like that. I could write books. I could go on the radio, but I could do nothing on television because they paid me like a professional athlete. Well, they put the whole show together, and then about right before we were scheduled to go on, and I was supposed to have 5 nights a week, 8 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. Right before, a phone call came to one of the underlings, and they said, is it true that Governor Ventura doesn't support the Iraq war? And the guys who answered said, yes, he doesn't support it. And they said, does New Jersey know about this? And the guy said, I don't know. And then the guy said, and this is a guy who had worked for me 4 years as governor too, who's now working on my show with me. And they said, is there any chance the governor would change his position on the Iraq war? The guy said, not likely. He said, he's the kind of guy, unless you can give him some real evidence to educate him that there's a better way, he's going to stick to his guns. I wasn't allowed on TV, ladies and gentlemen, because of my opposition to the Iraq war. If you recall, there was nobody on TV voicing any dissenting opinion. The only person that was Phil Donahue on MSNBC, and what happened? They pulled him. And get this, Phil Donahue was their highest rated show. Have you ever heard of a network pulling their highest rated marquee show? Never. That's a precedence that's never happens.
So did they have to continue to compensate you?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Well, they honored their contract, and I honored mine. The contract stated I could not do it. I would be in violation if I went out and, went on Fox or went on or CNN. So, and I'm a person that fulfills contracts. If I sign a contract, I feel that I signed it of my own free will. I have to live up to it. And so they paid me all 3 years. They includingly paid Dee Woodard, who was my assistant, my personal secretary as governor. She stayed with me on the show. Well, I'm the star of the show. I need an assistant. She got paid for 3 years. Both of us were paid completely for 3 years. And I can happily say my home in Mexico, down in Mexico, they like to put names on their houses. And I almost named my house Casa MSNBC. I ended up naming it Casa El Hombre Rana. Anybody here speak Spanish?
Yes,
Rana.
hombre is a man. House of a man.
Rana, frog. House of the man frog. See, I've learned this in Mexico. We say the description first and then the object. In Mexico, they say the object first, then the description. So my house is House of the Man Frog, which for me would be Frog Man. So that I named my house Casa El Hombre Rana, which is House of the Man Frog.
So then you get to the book.
Well, then another unique thing happened. After I left office, that following November was the 40th anniversary of the killing of John Kennedy in Dallas. So I told my wife, I got to go down there. So I flew down there, and I booked myself at a hotel as close as I could to Dealey, and went down there for that anniversary. And I found it amazing. There were 10,000 people there that day at Dealey Plaza, the day. I was the only elected or former elected official there. I found that very peculiar. Why would no elected official go to Dallas to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the assassination of Jack Kennedy? So I got up to speak there, and I asked, where's the governor of Texas? The former governor of Minnesota is here. I would think the governor of Texas would show up. Not one elected official even there. Is it because our government is so ashamed of what happened that day that they don't want to even acknowledge it? I don't know. Well, the book comes in here. While I was there, a guy walked up to me and handed me a book called The Man Who Knew Too Much. And it's a story about a guy, what the heck is his name now? Anyway, written by Dick Russell, who you'll see is my co-writer on Don't Start the Revolution Without Me. Well, Dick handed me this book, and I read it, and it's about a guy, I forget his name now off the top of my head, but it's an interesting story of this man. He was a captain in the Army who then went into intelligence and was with the CIA for many years. And 3 weeks before Kennedy was killed in Dallas, He walked into an El Paso, Texas bank, pulled out a gun, fired 3 shots into the ceiling, walked out and sat on the curb and waited to get arrested. He wanted to be in jail so that when he was arrested, he had documents on him tying him to Oswald and things with Lee Harvey Oswald. Clearly, he wanted to be in jail when it happened. And that's the story of the man who knew too much. He died in 1998, and Dick Russell found him and did the book on him. He wouldn't come out explicitly because he's a spook to begin with. But it's a very interesting story of this guy. And that's where I met Dick Russell. And ironically, I'm down in the Baja. Dick Russell happens to stay at a place down there that's up the road from me. And we met at the crossroads. And while we were down there then, I told Dick, I said, you know, Dick,